Basically, this story comes from ancient Greece, 10,000 years ago, before records were before we even have any records dating back then. The oldest dated record we have is from 4,000 years ago. So, very ancient story. And there was these two neighboring countries in ancient Greece, and one from the east, one from the west. They bordered each other, but their borders were fairly unexplored. And it was a partly cloudy day, mostly sunny, but partly cloudy. And the clouds, like mountainous clouds in the sky, they were ripping and roaring through the sky, creating this massive 60-mile-per-hour gust of wind, almost changing in form so instantly it looked like celestial gods dancing in the sky. And on this beautiful day, great day for hiking, since the border was super unexplored, both countries, the country from the east and the country from the west, wanted to send envoys out to discover the border a little bit more and see what their next moves would be on their grand conquest to increase their borders. And so one country from the east sent out a journeyman, and one country from the west sent out a journeyman to go explore into the ancient tundra. And they go out, and they both kind of simultaneously reach this iconic mountain. It had like a hook peak and this massive granite stone, beautiful butte with a plethora of mesas and plateaus in the surrounding area. This mountain had a view of all the area around, and so it'd be a great location to hike up and get a better vantage point of the unexplored wilderness. And so, almost like divine intervention, these journeymen, one from the east, one from the west, summit the mountain at the same time, one coming from the east, one coming from the west. And they get to the top of the mountain, and there's this cave, this dark, cold, mysterious, spooky cave with this foggy cloud kind of oozing out of the cave, creating a little chill felt by both journeymen. The journeyman from the west came from the west side, and so he sees the entrance of the west side of the cave. He looks in the west side of the cave, and he sees like this mysterious boulder on the center of it. Very odd shaped boulder. He never knew boulders could be shaped like a square. He kind of scratched his head, took out his notepad, and kind of like inscribed in his ancient Greek tongue, whatever language they were using. I believe it was ancient Sumer. Wes writes down in his notebook, "Oh, I saw a rock boulder, mysterious boulder on the top of Granite Peak, and at this time of day, it was oddly shaped like a square. Didn't go in the cave because I thought there was bears, and yeah." And so he hikes around the cave to get a better vantage point, to see if there's a way on top of the cave or something. But we also have the journeyman from the east, who coincidentally, moments later, finds the east door to the cave entrance, and he looks in and he sees the cold, mysterious fog. He sees the dark, barely lit cave, and he can just make out this boulder, barely. And he sees that the boulder is shaped like a triangle. And he's like, "I've never seen a boulder shaped like a triangle before. That's odd." He thought that it was noteworthy. So he took out his notepad and he kind of writes down in his journal log, on this day, very beautiful day, hiking up Granite Peak, saw this mysterious fog oozing out, and there was this oddly shaped triangular tetrahedron shaped boulder inside the center of the cave. I didn't go in the cave. I thought there could be mountain lion or some other critter in there, and so I wanted to stay out of it. Didn't want to risk my entire adventure. I've been trekking for weeks and weeks, so I stayed outside the cave and ventured around to find a better vantage point. And so he moves on and he goes on the other side, and both journeymen kind of bump into each other. A little hostile at first, but in all honesty, they put their country's bitterness aside, and they were just kind of in awe and in shock to see somebody else on this week-long journey they've both been on. And they kind of set up a table and they start brewing a tea, and they're chatting about their travels and just shooting the shit and like kind of getting along. And they're like, yeah, did you see that cave? And he was like, yeah, there was an entrance on the other side. I didn't go into it because it was too scary, right? Yeah. And they're talking to each other, and they're like, yeah, that was an oddly shaped rock, wasn't it? And he was like, yeah, I'd never seen a square like a rock shaped like a square before. And he was like, what are you talking about? It wasn't a square. The guy from the east says, that rock was perfectly like a triangle. Absolutely tetrahedron in nature. And he was like, what are you smoking? Because I want some of that. You are clearly wrong. That was not a tetrahedron. That was a square through and through, and there is no mistaking that perfect cube-like shape. And so they were like, all right, you're clearly retarded. Like, come on now. And they started fighting. They were like really not getting along anymore. And it's sad because they thought that they were going to have a great friendship. And they were like, okay, let's settle this once and for all. Let's go into the cave together. Let's go in, get to the bottom of this, because one of us is wrong and it isn't me. And so they're like, you know what? Fine. And they mustered up the courage, since there's two of them now. They sharpened some sticks, they got their spears going, and they rush into the cave. And lo and behold, they were both wrong. You see, when they further examine the rock from all angles and all perspectives, they come to find that it was neither a square or a triangle. The rock was actually perfectly cylinder. It was spherical, I should say. It doesn't really matter. But it wasn't a square or a triangle. It was a perfect sphere. And it just turns out the way the rock looked from the west made it look like a square based off how the light was hitting it. And the way the rock was from the east made it look like a triangle by the way the light was hitting it. Now, why the fuck did I waste 5 minutes, 6 minutes plus of your life telling you this story? Well, this story is designed to highlight the difference between the truth, reality, and what's written on record. So let's break that down. And there's a caveat. What's real is always true, but what's true is not always real. And let's break that down. 1 more minute. Bear with me. So what's on record was, I saw a triangle-shaped rock. And on the other guy's notepad, he saw a square-shaped rock. That was what they saw. And it was true that they did in fact see, the journeyman from the west did in fact see a square. That's truth. He's being honest. He's not lying to you. That's what he saw. And the journeyman from the east did see a triangle. That is also true. He is not lying to you. That is in fact what he saw. But the reality is, the way the light was refracting off the stone made it look like something that it was not. And in truth and reality, it was just a spherical shaped rock. And so we may all have our truths that we know are right and true in our hearts, in our mind, based off of our perspectives. But in reality, that's just simply not the case. And so it's our duty, it's our responsibility to align our biased, preconceived notions of reality that we get through our religion, through our indoctrination in school, through our childhood and how our parents raised us. Those are valuable. Those are fallacious. Those ways of looking at the world are flawed. And it is our duty to, through education, through learning and testing, and not just blind faith, to try to seek and align our perspective to the ultimate objective truth that does exist. I guarantee you that truth is out there. You're not too stupid to learn it. You're a lot smarter than you think. You are a lot more beautiful and powerful and worthy than you can imagine. Your worth, your value is beyond limits. It's immeasurable, it's infinite, and you can do anything you set your mind to so long as you believe in yourself. If you think you will, then you will. If you think you won't, then you won't. It's that simple, guys. I'm wishing you nothing but peace, joy, love, truth, happiness, friends, family, the best things in life I didn't mention, and more. That's what you guys deserve. You guys deserve to be free. I love you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my soul. Sorry this was more than 5 minutes long. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your guys' day. Barely made this exit. Take care, y'all. Peace. We out.